Hello, everybody out there. So for today's video, I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about for a while. Like most of my videos, that's how it goes. Probably can tell by my tone and my overall vibe today that it's going to be a little bit more of a serious conversation. It's not controversial though, so that's positive. So before I hop into the video, if you guys could do me a huge favor, and if you guys enjoy the content that I put out there, please do share the videos. Whether you tag somebody in them, or put their name in the comments, or you just share the channel with them, however you do it. The idea of the overall greater than movement is just to try and impact 100 million people's lives in different ways. And hopefully this video is a little bit more for everybody. So hopefully if it's helpful to you, motivational to you, or inspirational, or just some positive light out there in the universe, please do share it. Like I said, it's greatly appreciated, and just hopefully it is impactful in more people's lives than just the people that initially first watch it. So without further ado, the idea that I've really been thinking about and just the overall thought process that I have is kind of like about time in our life, and just the most important or the most valuable thing in anyone's life is time. People want to say it's money or possessions or whatever else, but in reality it's time. And we've all heard this before, but the analogy that's really been floating in my head that I really wanted to put out there into the universe, and then also kind of tie a personal story into it to kind of connect all the thoughts, is that imagine that whether you're 5 years old, 15 years old, 30, 55, doesn't matter. In our life, we all get a picture or a vase or a vase or whatever, something that holds water, and we hold it. When we're young, whether you're 5 years old or 8 years old, maybe even 10 years old, it's kind of the same thing. There is the same amount of water in the vase for you as somebody at 80. Now, the well or the pool of water that you're getting your vase filled from obviously goes down as you get older, which is kind of a straightforward analogy because there's less and less time, less and less water. Now, the question is, what are you doing with this vase? Now, I'd love to have my voice be over some cool little video like you see on YouTube or other places to be motivational, but I like talking to people and being very real and connecting, so I want to have this face-to-face conversation about this idea. But you'll see in a second why this makes sense. It's, what are you doing with the vase? So I like the idea of imagining, let's say a kid at 5 years old. They have a vase full of water, but in front of them, there's only a few cups that they can pour that water into, because there's only so much stuff they're able to do. They go to school, maybe they do their homework, they spend time watching TV or playing video games or music or sports or spending time with their siblings or friends. There's not a lot of cups. Maybe there's 3, maybe there's 6, 7, there's not that many. So a lot of the cups that they fill their water up with might overflow because they have so much more water to put into these cups because they have so much more time. Now, let's say someone who's in middle school or high school. Now you have school, you have probably actual homework after school, you have your friends that you want to hang out with more consistently, you have after school activities possibly, or maybe you play video games a lot. Maybe if you're in high school, you have a significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. So now and you still have your family, obviously, too, that you're spending time with. So now you're pouring water into more cups, so there's less and less water in each cup. And the water that we're drawing out of the pool, if you will, is our life, our time. And you're divvying up that time over more and more things. Now, the reality is, as you get older, you have more and more cups in front of you, which means you are spending less and less time on certain things. By the time that you're in your 20s or your 30s or older, especially when you get older than 30, 40, 50 years old, you might have 20 cups in front of you. You have bills you gotta pay, whether it's your mortgage, your kids' tuition, your car note, whatever else it may be. So you have bills you got to pay, so you have to put time into that. You have to go to work your 9-to-5 job, or maybe you work more, maybe you work 2 jobs, maybe you're a single parent. Then you have your kids that you have to pour time into, not only just into them and spending time with them, but also into their activities and the things that they're doing that you want to be involved in, or be spending time watching them be involved in. And then you have your significant other, your spouse, that you're pouring into. You have your own little bit of free time that you're trying to pour into. You have whatever else you're doing with your family, your friends, whatever it may be. And as we get older, what happens is we start pouring less and less into all these cups because we have only the same vase that we've had our entire life, which in reality, if we're thinking about it, is 24 hours in a day, 365 days a year. There's only so much time, and you got to pour some water into sleep. I guess I forgot that one, even for like the younger kids. So as we live our life, there's more and more glasses to fill. There's more and more responsibilities. And the reason why this has really been playing in my head is that I really feel like it doesn't matter if you're 15, again, 35, 80 years old. It doesn't matter, because we all have the same amount of water in our pitcher or our vase every single day. Now, in reality, there are people out there who have different goals in life. And this is where it kind of becomes individual for everyone watching. For some people, their goal is to have a family and to raise kids and have a job to make enough money to have a house, have a dog, take care of their spouse, whatever it may be. That might be their goal. For other people, it's to be famous. They want to be a movie star. They want to be a YouTuber. They want to be a TikToker. It doesn't matter. So they're going to pour a lot more time into that. For some people out there, they're an inventor. They're going to invent things. Or they want to be a musician or an athlete or whatever it is. Or maybe they want to take over the world and be Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos. I don't know. Somebody out there. And that's what they want to do. But I feel like for most people, regardless of what it is that you want to accomplish within your life, not even most people, everybody, there's only so much time. And now this kind of gets into the real nitty gritty meat and potatoes of what I'm trying to get at, which is we all only have so much time. We can only have so much water in our vase every day, and there's still going to be the same number of cups. You can't get rid of cups as you get older. You're just going to get more. It's just the way it works. But the true moral of this idea is that when we get older, you have to decide before you get there, what's more important to you? Is spending time with your spouse and your kids more important? Is making the most money that you possibly can and having the nicest things and giving a bunch of nice stuff to your spouse and your kids important, but not spending as much time with them? Is it being famous? Is it owning a company? Like, what is the most important thing? And I know I kind of went back and forth on the same thought process, but it's a difference of like what you think you want to accomplish and then what actually really matters to you at the end of your life. And the reason why I bring this up, and the reason why it's been playing on my head so much, is that we all live in this world. And I've talked about it before where there's like the hard truth bucket. But I think what I'm going to change it to is the hard truth box. Everybody out there knows that we have a finite amount of time. Everyone out there knows that they could get into a car crash and die today. Or they could get cancer. Or they could get ran over by a car. It doesn't matter what it is, but people know in the back of their head that any minute their life could be over. But we put it into the hard truth box. We put that knowledge in there. We fold it up. We duct tape it so we can open it easily, and then we put it on the shelf. So my goal today is to open that box up and reaffirm to everybody out there. You might have the picture today, and you might see the pool in front of you of being 80, 90, 100 years old before you die. But there's no guarantees. There's no promises. So my challenge to everybody out there is to open that box up, face the reality that there's no guarantee of how much time you're going to have. And with that thought process in mind, really ask yourself, what matters most to you? And yeah, we all have to pay bills. And yeah, we all have to have a job. And we have to do all these different things. So don't just think I'm saying like screw everything. Because that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is truly confront the reality that today or tomorrow could be your last day. Or the last day for one of your kids. Or your parents. Or your spouse. Or one of your friends. And really start to think, what matters most to you? Now, I said I was going to tell you a personal story, and I've never said this before in a video. And hopefully any of my family who watches it, it doesn't offend them. But it ties into this whole thought process that's been playing in my head, is that my dad, a few years ago, got diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer. And he found out and was told, oh, you have a few years to live. And then those few years shrunk into 9 months. And that was it. And having conversations with him, I knew as I grew up, his plan was to work, provide for us, provide for my mom. I was going to say for his wife, but I guess that sounds kind of bad, right? But provide for I'm looking for his perspective. Provide for his wife, provide for his kids, and have nice things for himself, for us, and also try and spend quality time with us. But he worked 6-7 days a week. Not 80 hours necessarily, but a lot. And talking to him once he got sick, and once he got very sick, and it was getting closer to the end of his life, having conversations about what really mattered to him. And I was never going to ask him what you would have done differently, because that's a terrible thing, I feel like, to ask somebody at that point. But having that honest conversation of what do you want to do now? And as it progressed, and it started to click in his head, it was the reality that I didn't even ask, what do you wish you would have done? That just came out as I was asking him, what do you want to do? It was, I wish I would have spent more time not working. I wish I would have spent more time with your mom, or with you kids, or when you guys were out of the house, going and doing other things that I had the money to do, but I was putting it off. I was saying, I only have a couple more years that I'm going to work, and then I'll be done working, and then I can do whatever I want. But he never got that opportunity. He never got that chance. He never had the ability to, because he was forced to stop working because he couldn't work anymore, and then tried to do some things, but even that was difficult and very hard to do and very short-lived. But those conversations of thinking that you have all this time and realizing that a lot of the time that he had put out into the universe, he did spend with his family, and he did do certain things that he wanted to do. But there was still so much more that he had wanted to do, or time that he wanted to spend with different people, that he didn't get a chance to. So my challenge to everybody watching this video again is open up the hard truth box. Realize that as you get older, and I know for people that are older than me, you already know this, but for you people, second thing is not just realizing that you're going to have more responsibilities and you're going to have the same pitcher of water every single day. It's realizing that that pitcher that you're pulling out of the pool or the basin, it's not a guarantee. So realize that you need to figure out what matters most to you. Because if you're working 80 hours a week right now, and I'm not saying anybody is, but I'm saying if you are, or if a lot of your time is spent working and not with your family or with your kids or with your spouse or even your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is questioning what's more important to you. Is it spending time? Is it building that business? Is it making a bunch of money? Is it being famous? Whatever it is. And I'm not saying, again, just throw everything out and just don't do anything that you have to do as far as responsibilities. But it is the thought process of trying to figure out the priorities of what you want to spend your time on. Because you do, at the end of the day, only have so much time to spend every single day. And you're not guaranteed to have that time tomorrow for yourself or for anybody else.